To begin with, I am now experiencing a strong sense of remorse, mixed with anger towards myself and the person I once loved very much. I could not admit to myself that I needed professional help, and seeing a specialist was hindered by my pride and fear. In addition, my father had recently passed away. I don't want to dive into the details, but you can't run away from your own feelings. It all started about 5 years ago when I was 22 years old. I met a girl through the internet, and our communication began as friendship, without hints of intimacy. She was an interesting, intelligent person with family problems, and this united us. However, as time went on, I realized that she was taking up more and more space in my thoughts. A dumb, young fool fell in love with a man he'd never seen in his life. I kept silent for a long time, afraid of ruining our friendly conversations. I don't remember who was the first to admit it, but we were both attracted to each other. However, there were almost 4,000 kilometers between us. As soon as I graduated high school, I was 18 years old, and I started working because we both wanted to meet in person. I worked hard, working almost without a day off. It was months of effort, saving on food, but the hardest part was the physical strain I had to endure. Loneliness also left its mark, as I hardly socialized with friends and acquaintances, devoting all my time to work. I wanted only one thing: to see her. In the summer, I finally got myself together and bought plane tickets to meet her. It was my first flight. I just sat before boarding on the bench with trembling hands and tired eyes. I couldn't sleep, and even during the flight. On exiting the plane, I heard a scream, and she jumped on me. I may have felt euphoric at the time, but I feel differently now. Then everything developed like in romantic movies: love, kissing, and so on. When it was time to leave, we both sobbed. When I entered the plane, tears poured from my eyes. I had never cried like that before. We scheduled our next appointment for New Year's Eve. I worked even harder, dreaming of staying there forever, not just a few weeks. When I had saved up a considerable amount of money for the trip, my father came and asked for the money, saying he was in debt. I felt sorry for him, despite growing up without him. At that point, he had a family and a son with his new wife, said he would give the money back soon, but of course he gave nothing in time, ignored me as best he could. In the end, he never did. It ruined my plans, and I tried to explain it to her, but she didn't understand me. I felt resentful and helpless, and then it was like it all came crashing down. It's important to note that I was her first, as she was mine. She never showed signs of cheating, but at one point she confessed to cheating on me by drinking. This came as a shock to me. I felt horrible. Nothing could compare to that pain. I even had a nervous breakdown. For a long time I couldn't believe it was true. But she confirmed what she said. Although she asked me to break all ties, I couldn't. I was dependent on her. I forgave her and got over it, but it was a difficult period. She was depressed for a long time, but then she came to her senses. I kept working, and my physical and mental fatigue turned me into a reclusive workaholic. I had no one to talk to, and, in all honesty, I didn't want to share my feelings either. At that point, even in front of her, I didn't want to reveal my soul. So, at the most inopportune moment, she hit me with words again, announcing that she was leaving on my birthday. She then apologized and wished me well. During this time, I felt like a depressed animal, not knowing what to do. Finally, I couldn't make it because my health was failing due to overwork, and my physical resources were running low. It's not like I'm Superman. This relationship came to an end, and she told me she didn't love me anymore, and a month later, she confessed that she had fallen in love with someone else. He was already living with her, and I, in anger, sent her away, acting like an embittered animal. Sometimes I got drunk and expressed my emotions anonymously, other times openly. It was incredibly stupid, but I felt alienated. I would apologize and then insult her again, and sometimes I would drown my sorrows in alcohol again. This all went on for about a year, and at one point I posted on social media that I was looking for company for drinks, not even remembering where exactly. A girl replied to me and we met up. We didn't even have a drink, just talked and had a cup of tea. I was suspicious of her because of my baggage of emotions, but she didn't impose herself, didn't push or ask stupid questions. It was as if she was quietly and carefully removing all the sharp splinters and thorns from me. This continues to this day, and I can say that I feel no less for her than I did for the previous girl. She has done so much more for me than anyone else in my life, including my parents. However, I sometimes have a fear of betrayal, and it envelops me. I am writing this now, feeling ashamed of my behavior in the past and angry at my ex-girlfriend. She makes me hate her as a person. I realize that it's not good to keep the hatred alive for so long, and it's slowly eating me up from the inside out. But I can't deal with it. I can't calm down. I feel a thirst for revenge. It's like a fire that is slowly burning me. I have to hide my feelings and switch. My father's death had no effect on me. Quite the opposite. He used me and died of nerves because of worrying about his debts. If he had lived honestly, none of this would have happened. He was 43 years old. That's the end of the story. Write your opinion in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and rate the video with a like. Thank you.